hello, and welcome to a new update from the Markets Middleman. What I'm witnessing right now is something really special, and that's the only reason I like to share it, okay? So that in case, okay, whoever is gonna watch this video and really find it insightful enough to do something in case you're taking into consideration investing in crypto or even trading crypto on the side. This is really something special today, and it's simply um, I'm gonna approach this from pure technical side, even though I have my fundamental reasons with what's going on, but I keep the fundamentals for you guys to make your own research to see what's going on. Trump tariffs, the monetary war that is happening. Like there's a really big things going on right now, and you have the access to go and make your own research. I'm not gonna include my personal opinion fundamentally. However, okay, at the end of the day, the chart has the known and unknown information about any single asset. So at some points when I find myself confused with the fundamentals, I just go back into the price action and I simply see what's happening in front of me and what the price action is trying to show me. So it's clearly that we are bullish on the higher time frames, especially on the monthly and the weekly slash daily time frames. And this is where you really want to identify your bias first. So as we can see on the weekly time frame, this is the crypto total market cap. As usual, I like to look into the bigger picture first and then see how I can translate this vision into opportunities. So first, we can clearly see that on the weekly time frame, if I'm looking to this on the 1 minute time frame or even on the 1 month time frame, it's a pure continuation method, okay, where price makes a huge move to the upside, okay, leave behind the fair value gap, aligning with a breaker block or breaker order, whatever, and then sweep this minor sell side and make a displacement to the upside. Like this is really basic ICT concepts that I've learned throughout the past year. So I can clearly see that price had displaced on the weekly time frame. And it's about after this week close, it's about to form the first bullish fair value gap whereby the market likes to balance this fair value gap and then move into its next objective. Now, not to be extreme and tell you, yeah, over this year, I think that this year we're gonna test $4.2 trillion dollars overall in crypto market cap. So we're talking about $1.2 trillion dollars extra from today's market cap. And that's totally logical if you take into consideration what's happening around the globe and this monetary shift that we're witnessing right now. But let's stay step by step. Let's take this actually step by step. So first objective for the crypto market, I see this weekly order block, and it clearly, okay, you don't need a specific or like a sacred strategy to tell you that this is really a very important level, which is the 3.12 trillion dollars. Okay, so I see the next step from here is the 3.13 or 3.13 trillion dollars around this area. Okay, now on the daily time frame, however, price is not gonna go straight line. Okay, on the daily time frame, I see that price had clearly swept this buy side liquidity over here. Okay, and created a mini daily pin bar. This usually after price sweeps such an area, it usually tends to balance any imbalance or fair value gaps that it left behind. Now, in this case, this fair value gap is already balanced. I have this sell side on the daily, but it's the beginning of the fair value gap on the weekly. So we can say that, okay, those two sell sides on the daily are the target, okay, are where the liquidity sits, whereby price tends to sweep those liquidity and continue its move. Now, if we witness something much aggressive, okay, then we will tap into the weekly fair value gap slash this daily inverted fair value gap, which is very important for price. We see it respected it once, twice, and three times. So if it's gonna go aggressive, we're gonna see it retrace back into this, and still it's gonna be bullish because we already broke above the first low. And of course, the last update, by the way, if you haven't watched it, please do watch that update where I spoke about the importance of this fair value gap flipping into an inverted, and this is where the sell program changes into a bullish program. I spoke about this on the crypto total cap and on BTC. So plan forward, avoid being hyped up, even though anything can change, like in the market can keep on going up. Okay, this is still a possibility, but anyway, at some point the market would make a flash crash into the downside, and I will show you some altcoins just to see what I'm talking about. So medium term, I think at some point we're gonna consolidate a little bit, test out some critical levels, but I see that we're gonna go up. We're confirmed. We're bullish from here. So moving on to Bitcoin. Now, here on Bitcoin, I posted last video on April 12th, I spoke about the importance of this inverted fair value gap and how the program had changed. And ever since then, Bitcoin really consolidated for like a week or a week and a half, and then boom, it pushed aggressively higher. Now, of course, I haven't expected whatsoever that we're gonna witness like such a strong move from Bitcoin. But yeah, this is the markets and this is the crazy stuff going around. So yeah, Bitcoin closed above this inverted, so this is one of the areas that if things got crazy, okay, we might see a test into this inverted fair value gap. However, also I was still surprised that on Thursday we were able to close also above this fair value gap, which was very important for Bitcoin. So I'm not quite sure if we're done and or sorry, if we're gonna keep on going up, okay, to test at least this buy side and then cover the weekly fair value gap, etc., etc., or we're just gonna follow the altcoins from here, make a small dip, and then go up. So far, it's extremely bullish. Before a close back below this level over here, I expect Bitcoin to keep on going up until it sweep this buy side, at least. Okay, now this video wasn't intended to be about Bitcoin. Okay, my last video was about Bitcoin and it already moved. Now it's never too late for Bitcoin. Okay, averaging on 92, 90,000, 86,000 is all good for the long run in case you're gonna hold Bitcoin. I mean, for a year or so, or even for the future. Um, but I wanted to make this video to show you a very interesting and important opportunity on altcoins because as usual you see that when Bitcoin makes a strong move, okay, usually altcoins are still accumulating, it's still uncertain what's going on, but then they start to follow through. Okay, so there's a lot of ways for you to track this correlation between Bitcoin and the altcoins, but I'm not going to go into that details. Instead, I'm going to show you the levels that you have to keep in mind right on your charts and really observe what's happening. So let's go. So at first I will discuss one of my favorite altcoins, which is VeChain. So we can see that VeChain had cleared a major sell side, like really one of the lowest prices it had ever tested. So on the daily time frame, we see that price made same high, okay, swept this buy side liquidity and left a small inverted fair value gap on the daily, which give us a nice draw on liquidity, a daily order block as well as an 8-hour fair value gap, 8 hour slash 4 hour fair value gap, which is really important. In this case, I will show you on the H4 time frame. We see how price is aiming to test the next buy side liquidity, okay? But it left behind a critical, a crucial fair value gap on the H4 time frame, aligning with all of this liquidity over here. So yeah, I expect, and right now we're on the weekend, by the way, it's Saturday, and usually the strong moves are happening on the weekends. So yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised if I see something like this between Sunday and Monday. So but anyway, we can see clearly the areas of interest that it left behind, and usually markets like to manipulate, and then distribute to the right side. So keep this in mind. Keep 0.24 24 cents for VeChain. Now I think you got the logic already, and now it's just a matter of identifying few different setups, and you can trade the one that fits for you or the one that you feel good trading, or if it's like aligning with your setup or strategy that you're trying. But mainly, all of the assets become similar. Okay, so the same setup I showed you on VeChain, it's just the same as on different assets. So from here, it's just literally like copy and paste. Okay, copy and paste the same setup. So on Cardano, I'm gonna just move on to the major altcoins. On Cardano, I have this H4 fair value gap aligning with this breaker block over here. Okay, it's extremely important, especially that it comes after a zigzag formation, which is very important. So you can look for an inverted fair value gap that's gonna happen on the 1 hour slash 15 minutes time frame. On crypto, I don't really go lower than the 15 minutes time frame, even though if I'm gonna position myself for a swing trade, I'll even stick to the 30 minutes, like 15 minutes maximum is the lowest time frame I go on crypto, but I have the vision from the higher time frames. So over such areas over here, you can look for inverted fair value gaps on the 15 minutes time frame, etc., and push higher, protect your stop loss, etc. So this is it on VeChain. So moving on for Chainlink, it's also pretty much the similar idea. However, on Link I have this inverted fair value gap that had not been retested yet, so it's really very important aligning with this 1 day. So this is clearly a very interesting area of interest to wait price at, especially that it will sweep this sell side over here. So moving forward, Solana had been respecting the inverse fair value gap on the daily time frame really big time. So I'm expecting it to still do the same, especially after sweeping the SPY side over here, leaving behind this daily fair value gap, which had already tested. However, usually sometimes price tends to test it again, sweep this liquidity, and then continue moving higher. So 135 for Solana. And of course, I cannot make this update without talking about XRP to see, like, because it's gaining a lot of attention lately, and people are starting to get more aware about the importance of XRP in the next ecosystem. So XRP had broken this one of the most important daily fair value gaps after testing and balancing this daily fair value gap over here, and it didn't get the chance to rebalance it or test it back again until right now. So this is the time where we're gonna see if XRP is gonna sweep those two sell side over here that are just before this inverted fair value gap. So really $2.11 for XRP is very important. So we're gonna see how this is gonna work out from here.